I'm with Najwa Saha Sayeg from Jeel amal. Now, Najwa, what is Jeel amal?
Jeel amal means generation of hope. So my parents, when they started the home in 1972, they called it Generation of Hope as a symbol of hope at a time where there was no hope whatsoever in our country, hope in future educated generations who will build the Palestinian society.
What year was the school started?
They started it 1972 in Bethany. It's a small village near Jerusalem. And now it's separated by the wall that was built in year 2000.
And was there a need at the time for this school?
Yes, they targeted the children who were directly affected by the bad political and economic situation in our country after the war. They targeted the children who were actually roaming in the streets, having no future and having no families. And families were basically shattered on both sides at that time.
So what is the vision and the mission of the school?
Jeel amal, Generation of Hope, is a social institution for the protection and care of needy and orphan children in whole Palestine. So in the boarding section, we have children coming from very poor backgrounds and remote villages in the West Bank, from Ramallah, Bethlehem, and all over. And we have orphans, we have side orphans, we have children coming out of wedlock and they do not have families at all. So it's basically for children who are abandoned and abused children.
How many boys do you have in the home?
Well, during the school year, we have 75, and the number does not stop here because we receive during the summer and through the whole school year children and cases who are being on the streets.
Do you have to give some of these boys counselling when they come into the home because of the situation they've been through?
Sure, they need counseling, they need our patience, they need to see that here they are cared for and they are loved. And it takes huge efforts from the specialists, from the consultant, from the house mothers, supervisors, from all of us to try and help the children, especially knowing that they come from very difficult backgrounds. Some are abused, some are badly beaten, some have been on the streets for a couple of years, they have skipped school. So they need counseling, and we don't have a magic wand in our hands, but it takes huge efforts, and we see that the children get by in a couple of months. Even small things really change them.
Are they both Muslim and Christians together here?
Yes, Jeel amal is for children from all over Palestine. You know, here in Palestine, Christians and Muslims are together, one hand. So we do not differentiate. And my mother, the founder of the home, Alice Sahar, she used always to say, whenever she was asked this same question, in what language does a child cry? Because she never looked at a child, where he comes from, ethnic backgrounds, religion. She wanted to help as long as this child is needy. So it didn't matter to her. And we continue doing the same today.
Have the boys in the home become family together?
Actually, you will be amazed. I have seen myself, I have experienced the love of the children, the older boys, how they care for the little ones. I've been last summer also to the seashore with the children to a picnic, and I was amazed to see how the older boys were watching the little ones. They were taking care of them wherever they went. Here also, when it's time for dinner, how they lay the table, how they help the little ones. They supervise, they do chores all around. So it's more of a homely atmosphere, really.
Now you also have a school here, a mixed school with boys and girls. Is that unique for this area?
Actually, yes, it is. Because the majority, they tend to separate, but we don't want that. They are sitting in the classroom side by side, boys and girls. And also the workforce here, the majority are women. So 90% of the staff working in Jeel amal are women, because we want to empower women to have jobs also in the society, and we don't tend to separate them at all.
What sort of skills do the children learn?
Actually, the life skills, all kinds of life skills. Now we have a program for the children in the boarding section. They go to an organization in Bethany, and it is sponsored by the French Islamic Relief. And they go there and they learn life skills. Because it's very important when the children leave Jeel al-Amal that they are empowered to live in the society and to be encouraged and to promote their self-esteem to face whatever they need to face after they leave.
What sort of needs do the boys have in the boys' home?
What sort of needs? Actually, first of all, they need love and care. They need our attention. They need to feel that we are their family, the family that they have lost, that they have never known. They need to know that for sure, and it really transforms their whole being. They need, now we're working on renovating the whole boarding section. We have already managed to do that with the dining room and with the kitchen. We're also renovating the boarding section. Children have needs, all needs. It's a cycle. I mean, you can't say, well, we are looking after them in terms of food, in terms of clothing, and overlooking their other needs. It's a cycle. They have to practice their talents. They have to meet other people in their community. They have to go for tournaments outside the home, meet people. So it's like a cycle, and you can't look one and pay attention to the other. So we're very keen on that.
Is it important that the children get a good education here in the home?
Yes, it's very important. The founders of the home, my parents, Alice and Basil Sahar, they believed in education as the only, between two brackets, the only weapon for the future to help people, to help them for a better future. So this is the only thing that empowers them, being educated. And the day school, by the way, it's for children with low-income families. So they wanted private education for people who cannot afford to pay for private education. And this continued up till this date.
Now, education is important and some children will want to go to university. Is that very difficult for them here when perhaps they don't have parents or family?
Yes, actually they have depended on us for their whole life as little children. And once they finish their schooling, they want to go to universities. We try to help them as much as we can. Now they have the springboard to go on and study in the universities. So what we do, we don't have in Jeel al-Amal, we're a charity. We don't have reserve or much money to fully sponsor them. So we reach out for friends, for people who want to sponsor education of a boy who finishes his schoolings and he succeeded in the last year with the exams and he wants to go to university. So we have included that in the core elements of the home, and people can donate to educate a child to university afterwards. So we don't leave them alone at a certain point. We try to help them as much as we can. So the majority of the staff also, I have to mention, are from the children who have finished the schooling in Jeel al-Amal. They came here as 3-year-old boy, and now they're working in Jeel al-Amal. They are from the staff, yeah.
Do you have children that come into the school with disability?
We have children with different kinds of learning disabilities. We have autism. Yes, and we try to work with them, with the specialist, with the consultant, and now we're having a project, a building of the 4th floor. It's going to include a room for children with learning disabilities to try to help them as a first step and integrate them in the classrooms afterwards. So this is a problem we face, yes.
Now with the boys in the children's home, do you do special things with them over the holidays?
Yes, during the holidays we have a number of children who do not leave Jeel al-Amal, and we're the only organization, by the way, who keeps its doors open during summer, because all organizations, they close and the children have to find somewhere, I don't know where, if they don't have families, but they don't stay in the school. Jeel al-Amal, no, we keep the doors open during summer. We have a program, a summer camp, where volunteers arrive from Unipal. This year we're going to have 3 volunteers coming from the UK. We have a program for those children to deviate their attention also from the harsh reality that even during summer I was not able to go somewhere, or I don't have anybody to go to. You see, so a number of activities are implemented, like they go swimming, they go hiking, they go for IT workshops. The volunteers paint the murals on the wall with the children. So it's an enjoyable kind of thing to do.
Now, obviously, in time, the children will get integrated into society as they get older. Do they come back and visit?
Yes, they always do. Because they consider Jeel al-Amal their home. Here they grew up. This is the place that really, was caring for them, was loving, and they consider it their home. They always come back. And last time there was something very touching taking place here. A boy who has finished from Jeel al-Amal and went to university, graduated. He has a contract in one of the Arab countries, and he came to say goodbye. He was sitting with the children. It was a surprise visit. So everybody was looking, and he said, well, I was a boy like you. I'm an orphan. I have never known any family. And Jeel al-Amal was my home. And I wish and pray that each one of you would work hard and fulfill his dream and get to the point where I was. And now he has a doctoral degree, and he's signing the contract to travel and work in one of the countries abroad. And he came to say goodbye. So he gathered all the children around him, and it was pretty inspiring because he really gave them, encouragement and full support, So they always come back.
And how do you raise your finances? Does the government pay, or do you have to just raise all the money here yourself?
Yes, we're a non-governmental organization. We're private. We do not get any government support whatsoever. We are totally on our own in getting money to Jeel al-Amal. The salaries of the school are not sponsored. We have to look for money to pay them. The boarding section, all the needs, we source that out on our own. And it's very, very difficult because we reach a point where things are really, really very difficult. But we depend more on donations from friends, from churches in England and in Holland, and also from unrestricted funds. So it's very difficult sometimes. We have an organization that's helping us with the quarterly remittance in the UK, and this is how we go on.
Why do you do what you do?
Actually, I started working in 2008 after my mother passed away. She left a huge gap, and I was volunteering for a couple of years. And this question that you are asking me now has been on my mind ever since when I started working here. Why am I gonna bear this responsibility when I saw my mother all her life long, till the last minute of her life, worrying about how to get money and how to get things done in Jeel al-Amal, because we have nothing to depend on. I started volunteering, and I found that Jeel al-Amal and the children are really worthwhile of helping. I experienced the love that my mom had in her heart for those children, and I started developing it. And I understood more why my mother did it, and I got a vision why I should continue it also. So when you see a child coming, crying, abused, having no future, and you care for him, and after a while he gets himself together and he's studying and he's building his future, and you see the staff also who are working like one hand in Jeel al-Amal, you feel encouraged and you can't but help them. And you would want to do everything in your might just to keep things going. So from my own experience, it's rewarding, and it's also worthwhile giving your life for such a worthy cause.
What's your prayer for the children here?
Well, I pray always, and I always say I pray for peace to prevail. I pray for better days for those children. I pray that God will give us the strength always to continue, and that God would send in his angels to help us, help those children, and do what's right for them. And I pray that God blesses Jeel al-Amal.
Now, for people who maybe would like to give to the organization or know more about it from your website, what's your website address?
Well, our website is www.jeelalamal.org. And we have also on YouTube channel, you can just type in Jeel al-Amal movie. And you can see the children. It pretty much sums up Jeel al-Amal in 3 minutes.
Okay, Najwa, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming. Please remember us in your prayers. Thank you.